Let's see what's happening in KwaZulu-Natal. The Finance MEC was tabling the province's budget, and striking workers had vowed they will not disrupt proceedings, which they have kept to that promise, that is. Nobuhle Modise is monitoring developments, and you're standing by to tell us what's happening this hour.
Indeed, Dudu, they have kept to that promise. MEC for Finance, Ms. Peggy Nkonyeli, did indeed receive that memorandum of demands, and I'm actually joined here by the General Secretary of Nehawu in the province of Sapeta, and let's speak to him firstly about that interdict that they had attempted to put aside. I know that judgment has been reserved on that. What's your response to that?
There's nothing much to say except to say that we are looking forward to the judgment and we'll immediately study it, and then our legal team will advise us in terms of what is the recourse, and on the basis of that we'll make a decision.
All right, and then speak to us about some of those demands that you had on the memorandum briefly.
The truth of the matter is that Treasury is an administrator of and implementers of austerity measures, which have a significant negative impact to the living conditions of the working class and the poor. And as a result, we are suffering. We are confronted by suffocation as workers, because in the last 4 years we have not really experienced a salary increase. Posts are not have been filled. As a result, one worker is forced to do almost 4 times the work that is doing. And we do think that that policy is not relevant to the South African context. We need to put policies that really respond to our issues. And because the location of that policy is the Treasury, so throughout the country we're targeting each and every MEC of Finance or Treasury to communicate our message, so that as and when they meet nationally with all MECs and the minister, they pay attention to issues that we are raising, because otherwise, if it was not austerity measures, we're not going to be in a severe misery that we find ourselves in now.
Right, and Mr. Sapeta, we've seen some political parties coming out condemning the action of some of your members. We heard you earlier speaking about the ANC putting out a statement calling you hooligans. The NFP has also come out calling on the president to put an end to the strike, because as well they're also saying that your behavior is untoward. And we also have some of your sister unions like SATU calling you out, calling your behavior abhorrent. What's your response to some of these responses to the strike action?
Firstly, we must also reiterate, we condemn any incident untoward our strike, because our strike is directed to the employer, not to our communities. And those incidents, really, we sympathize with them. That's why we are forced to be on the ground ourselves as leadership, so that as and when guidance and leadership is needed, we do so. And this arises as a result of the fact that before the strike, we communicated with all departments in the country, through provinces, to ask them to have meetings with Nehawu structure, so that there are plans put in place in each and every hospital and clinic in terms of the human resource, so that as and when people they come coherent with the strike, people are attended. But unfortunately, all those efforts were in vain. We were told that they would not do that because the department all of a sudden is no longer responsible for health, and that's a situation where we found ourselves. But it's not what we are encouraging. Even now we want to make a call that elements that are not related to the strike must come to an end.
I spoke to the regional secretary for the Harigwala region earlier about his stance on what they've called what Dr. Joe Phahla was saying, that some of those members who were violent, they will be instituting criminal charges as well. What's your response to that?
He's a minister. We are regulated. It's not a banana republic, and everyone else should act and behave within the frame of the law. So it's up to his discretion to do so, but certainly what we know, we will defend our members when they are accused until really they are proven otherwise. But as things stand, we are waiting for him to take action, and we will respond to the action as and when he brings it to us.
And then lastly, so how long does the MEC have to respond to that memorandum?
He has been given by the provincial leadership of KZN 10 days with effect from today to respond.
What happens after that?
The provincial secretary, I have heard him saying that if he's not responding in that 10 days, they will take upon themselves to follow her wherever she goes. just to pick up the response, because there's a response that they need. They have put the resources, they have mobilized. They are not doing this thing out of anything else, but out of their pressure in terms of their living conditions. So they ought to be responded to, particularly in this democratic dispensation, because this is understood as the government of the people, who pays attention and who claims to be caring for the people. So those issues, if they are not attended, they will not save the situation, they will make things worse. So it's important for her to attend to that and respond to those issues.
Thank you very much. That is Zola Sapeta, who is the General Secretary of Nehawu in the province, just saying that the MEC has 10 days to respond to that, or we will not see an end to this strike that has been taking place for 5 days now. Back to you.
Thank you very much to Nobuhle Modise for that update.